It's the whole King of Spirits, right? Like that shouldn't be 2 plus 2 is not
here.
5.
Sus on Sukuna. Sus on Sukuna.
AoA, that's a triple play. New episodes, I couldn't wait. Yeah. Open your mind at the first gate. Press play, no need to debate. AoA, check me out. Look, clocked in, you can catch the hype. Golden Dawn, how we follow the light. Anime like life, married to it, my wife.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages? Welcome back to the AoA show. I'm your host, as always, Ian, along with the boys Isaiah.
Oh, hi, yo.
And Gavin.
What is Gucci Shoes?
And today we're talking JJK, the season finale, episode 24. This one, what was it called? Acceptance? I don't know, some with an A. Yeah, I don't know, but it was a good episode. We're going to get into it here. Make sure if you guys like the content, you guys are liking, subscribing, hitting that bell, commenting your thoughts down below as well. What did you think of our discussion this episode? What had a profound impact on you? Where do you think the show is going from here? How excited are you for it? Because I know we are. And definitely check out our reaction to this, which you could find on our AoA Reacts channel, which is in the link down in the description below. But all right, getting into it here. Nobara's best girl. I think that's just been established, right? 110%.
Great ass
This
waifu
chick
material.
is just like awesome. Like not like the I don't take kind of girl, but like not to the point where it's like this like outward defiance for the sake of being defiant. It's like she's confident and strong in who she is, and it's freaking awesome to see. It's like, no, like I don't have to take from anyone but I'm not trying to prove anything either. You know, it's just like she's a freaking awesome character, and she really just put it on the line in this episode here. I love the fact that she was playing chicken with Iso here, who thinks he's got them beat with this blood curse technique. These are special grades, and I would argue that they didn't really put up too much of a fight. I mean...
Yeah, well, to be fair, I feel like if Isu and Kishisu had picked, like, literally any other two sorcerers, they probably would have... probably would have won, or at the very least, like, the fight would have been, like,
sure,
y'all just rolled into the wrong club, like, with these two, because these two are, like, a special kind of freak. Like, you know, these three, I should say, because I don't want to leave my boy Megami out. But... You know, yeah, they just could not have picked a worse pairing up because they looked silly by comparison.
Yeah. Nobara even said, like, you literally picked the worst matchup because like, I will just kill myself, and I'm clearly tougher than you are. And Itadori just doesn't affect, which I just keep on forgetting that poisons don't affect Itadori. So every time for a split second, I'm just like, oh, this is awkward. They're on a time. They're going to decay, whatever. And he's like, no, that doesn't work. It doesn't work on me at all.
I said this before, but it's like, if I had to pick one thing about the show that I call BS on every time, it's this like superhuman athlete thing, because it's cool like for the first episode, but it's like, dog, it kind of like weirdly takes certain stakes out of it anytime he gets into a fight, because I'm like, okay, if it's not like Sukuna related, like he's probably gonna be fine. Like, you know what I mean? Anytime it's like this whole thing, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see how Nobara handles this fight. But I wasn't worried about Itadori for a second, because I'm like, this dude's a fucking athlete, like, you know what I mean? Before the cursed spirit stuff.
He's more than an athlete. This dude is like a gladiator, an Olympian. He's insane, dude. Because you were reminding me, I totally forgot. I'm like, well, I think he's using curse energy, which he could be. Like, if somebody wants to clarify that, like maybe he's infusing curse energy, so he's even a little bit more than he was or something. But you were reminding me that the first episode that he was like bent a pole in half by throwing a baseball at it, and he jumped and crashed through a window before he ate the finger, and it was like, holy hell, this guy is on another level, dude. So, yeah. He was totally fine, but it was really, I mean, it was awesome to see their team synergy together, obviously, how in tandem they were, because you get a lot of this in other older shonen sometimes. I'll pull the Naruto reference, but, you know, you get like the Naruto Sasuke thing where it's like the synergistic thing, and sometimes like Sakura would just be there, you know, from time to time. But I love the fact that they're not just focusing on Yuji and Megami's synergy, but that this is a full cohesive team here. So it's like, if it were any two of the pairings together, they would be totally fine working whatever they have to do in order to get a one-up on their enemy. And it was really cool to see them in action, how they go back to back and switch, because they, you know, the one enemy is weaker, so they have to go up against that. And then at the end, when he blows his arm off, it wasn't just for show, it was because now you're screwed. You left a body part behind. Now it's just a matter, you can't escape. It's you know, which
that's the other cool thing too, is that like he doesn't like Itadori is he's a fucking monster when it comes to physical strength and stuff, but he's not like the end all be all by himself. And so like what you're saying with the Naruto thing, it's like it got to a point in and I would imagine it's, to be honest, most shonen of that era, that genre, that like once the main characters get to a certain point, it's like everybody else be gone or like be here, be not, doesn't matter. We're so strong, we kind of cover all the bases. Itadori is still stupid strong, but he doesn't cover all the bases. So his technique, which is physical strength, does actually synergize well with other people's abilities, and it's just a matter of how you use them, right? Like he could, again, keep up with a fucking speeding car, but like then the guy had a hostage. He's like, okay, you can catch me, but like don't come near me. It's like, so then we have no like everybody's techniques make up for what Itadori lacks in other departments where he can't utilize stuff like that. So it is more believable, I'll say, than like if Itadori just tanked everything on his own.
Yeah, 100%. Fantastic team. What do you think about this episode?
Yeah, no, I like the flip side of the coin, where it's not only do we have the relationship on our team, but now they're throwing in relationships of, well, in this instance, the cursed wombs. And, you have Iso, Chenzu, and Chozo, butchering their name, sorry, but it's like, not only do we have the bonding between, Itadori and friends, but it's like they're also showing the flip side, where it's just because they're like cursed spirits in a sense doesn't mean that they can have relationships, because so far we've seen like they might be friends to some extent, but at the most, like, at the core, it's very individualistic, where it's like as long as they survive or as long as they're doing their thing, like they probably don't really care. But now we get it to where it's like they are a family in a sense, and a human or partial humans, and it's like they have that relationship as a normal person would have, and that's what really hurt Itadori at the end, because it's like we didn't kill like cursed spirits, like there was tears shed based off of who I killed and why I killed, and it was explained in this episode the relationship that they had, in that it's like a trifecta. Every brother is living for the other brother, so it's like they would die in sacrifice for the other person, and that's very different from the enemies that we've seen so far, obviously, and it's really cool that they're starting to integrate those relationships in it, and it's going to make exercising these enemies a lot harder. And I'm curious to see in the future if we're going to get more of that, or if like cursed energies are really going to be like act as a band of brothers in a sense, and be like, no, I'm dying for the other guy, and like we're going ham and going crazy, and how that affects our squad as we see it, because they can really do a lot of messed up stuff for it. And this show is seemingly just getting darker and darker, especially with the existence of these cursed womb spirits that we've seen, like literally like their mother was impregnated like 9 times, to create this. So it's like they're definitely going down a route that they're not scared to take, like a really dark image and bring it to light. So I'm curious just how like they ramp it up in the future, because honestly, when we get more really messed up cursed spirits, their existence is going to have to be just as messed up as the 3 we've seen so far, because obviously they're stewed in like hatred, resentment, and all negative feelings. So it's like really the sky's the limit in terms of like how these really powerful entities can be created and are created, and it's just going to get more and more messed up. So I'm really excited to see just how, like, what imagination the creators use to bring them to light, because I would have never thought, even with the guy like, oh, I don't want you to see my back, blah, 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 like I'll kill you, and then it was like, all right, what's really going on? And then like you find out the full image and you're like, oh crap, like I've never even seen anything like that in an anime, where it's like they adapt it in that way, and it was really cool. And there's just so many things that you can do with this show, and it's really amazing. I thoroughly enjoy it.
Well, we know that the like, at least from this fight, that the cursed spirits are getting a little bit more into the like blurring the line between human and entity or demon, because when they're fighting, Isu has, we're in his head like for a lot of the fight, and he's like talking about his technique, and he's like, oh, okay, if I deactivate it now, like, will my brother actually be in a state? Are they strong enough to kill him? He's like contemplating what the best strategy is, but the second that his brother's life is actually in danger, on instinct, he turns the technique off without even thinking about it. And he even makes a comment where he's like, whoa, fuck, like I didn't even think, I saw he was in danger and I just did it. So that obviously coupled with the fact that like they, Itadori, and that like they take them to the place where they like first were fighting as like sort of a resting place for them, a burial ground. Like these aren't, they make a comment, we're not exorcising them. They don't like vanish. These are people. We are killing them. Like they're being turned into these cursed spirits, but they are humans first. And like, so yeah, I definitely think the line going forward is going to get, because I think ultimately that's what Mahito, Geto, like that's their goal here, is to create a being that is such a blend of a human, or Jujutsu sorcerer maybe even, and a cursed spirit, that like it doesn't even matter. Like what it is like there is no, you know what I mean? It's this like unified being.
This one could have been coincidental though, because of the fact that they have those little popcorn poppers, you know what I mean? Like little chicken nuggets to make people into cursed spirits. Like I do think that they want it to be the age of cursed spirits.
What I mean is that they're going to be cursed spirits first, but like they're as far as intelligence, technique, like ability to adapt in a fight, ability to utilize different techniques, like they're going to resemble humans in the sense that they can adapt and evolve to survive. Like they're not going to be these like just big ugly things that like scream and run around and panic. Like they're going to be so like as human as humans can be, but they're cursed spirits.
Yeah. At least special grade or higher. It seems that we've seen like even higher sometimes.
Like Sukuna. Yeah. Like they're going to be cursed spirits, but a human in every other sense of the word, as you know,
have consciousness. Yeah, basically. Yeah. That'll be interesting to see going forward for sure. Can we talk about how Sukuna just like sniped that finger for a second, because that was just downright rude. I totally forgot again. You know what's funny is like I keep on forgetting some of these things. And it's like not for lack of paying attention, because it happens. It's like, wow, that's crazy. And then, but it's like there's so much that goes on in between. It's like you forget that Sukuna is just like can do that on a dime. It just made me laugh. This freaking guy, bro.
I thought he was gonna do something where, because you know the way Megami was like, now I'm gonna repeat it again. Don't eat this finger. I was like, he's gonna eat the finger. Yeah. But I thought it was gonna be a thing of Sukuna's gonna take over his body for like literally a second and be like. And then like go back, but I also forgot he could do that. But like it's like it is interesting that like, you know, again we've talked about it in so many episodes, but like Sukuna's just playing a long game here, bro. Like whether Itadori gets these fingers or somebody else, he's like, as long as somebody brings me these fucking fingers, I don't care who it is.
And honestly, the way that Itadori, when he ate it by Sukuna, it made me wonder, because obviously it had like a partial transformation. Like you saw Sukuna's tattoos come over and then they disappeared. It makes me feel like Sukuna could do something, but he really is like not showing to the full effect of like a change, or like, oh my God, Itadori got this power up. Like I almost feel like he's consuming these fingers and concealing himself within Itadori and waiting for that moment to where he's like I'm storing this power just so they don't think that, you know, I'm really in control and Itadori is in control. And then once there's like a certain moment when Sukuna feels like he wants to pop out and overtake Itadori, he's going to do that, because it just felt like too weird how like he ate it and it was perfectly fine. Like there's definitely something up with that. Like, it was very easy.
Yeah, like he just ate it and was like, because I think Megan even says, he's like, we can't have you eat it because like we don't know where you're at, and it's like, oh, I'm fine. It's like, I don't know about all that.
It seems like somebody's holding back.
Yeah. So it's like that's like the, you know, he's the whole king of spirits, right? Like that shouldn't be. 2 + 2 is not 5.
Sus on Sukuna. Sus on Sukuna. Yeah, I'm waiting for. I mean, well, we're gonna be waiting a while, but I wonder if there's an ending to this where somehow Sukuna and Itadori get split without Itadori just dying on the spot, and there's like a fight between that, or if that just can never happen. I don't know. I don't know. I want to see what Itadori's capable of, and the final analysis is really
like, I just want to meet him, you know?
Yeah. I just want them to fight.
Everybody to know, you know. Yeah. I don't know. The way that they talk about, because there is no, I guess the understanding is that once Sukuna gets all his fingers, he will like take over Itadori's body, and like Itadori's body will be his. So that's the one thing, is we haven't really seen or shown, or it hasn't really been alluded to, that like Sukuna's presence outside of Itadori, who or what he was before he became Itadori, because I think the idea is that his relationship and existence like is defined by this symbiotic thing where it's like he has to have a host. So it's like Sukuna has just always looked like or been whoever he takes over. So he might not even he might, I mean, I'm sure like if they do go this route of like Itadori tries to separate him from him, you know, making him manifest in some weird, you know, fucking like gross, like whatever form. But I wonder if it's actually going to be a thing of like Itadori's gonna have to just learn to like synergize with him and like, you know, maybe like, I don't think it's gonna be like a, hey, we're best friends, like Naruto, Nine Tails thing, but it might be a thing of like Itadori just gets strong enough to like, you know, I know this sounds crazy now, but like put Sukuna in check, and like anytime Sukuna wants to get like batshit with him, he's like, hold on, like stop, you know.
Then the only thing is who stands up to Itadori. You know,
nobody. The show's over.
Show's done. Yeah, that is the end, right? Yeah. He becomes that strong. Yeah, maybe like a mental battle or something, because he's been in his domain within inside of his mind. So anyway, that was a side note, but I don't know. I think it'd be cool. I want to see Itadori, man, like really come into his own.
Yeah.
It was also interesting too, because they at the end here we have Toto and woman whose name evades me, but the money hungry one. What is it?
I was gonna say, Gavin, you could scroll up on the character.
Oh yeah, if you don't mind. Long-haired white hair lady. Recommending who was it? Like all the main cast as, a bump up here in terms of first grade, I guess, or the fact or the point where this is like a job. They're able to get money, they're able to get all these sorts of things. So I don't know. I thought that's going to be cool, and I think you were saying before it just kind of sucks because it seems that a lot of these other characters have kind of been put not to the wayside per se, because we got a lot of story on a lot of them, but I'm wondering, besides the main crew here, if it's going to be, if they're going to get their time to shine again, like Mecha and all those kind of guys. I don't know. I'm curious. Right, can't find her. Sorry. Somebody wants to clarify that. But anyway.
Yeah. No, it is. I was saying this like in the reaction, and I even said at the beginning of this discussion, it's like, these cursed spirits are very unlucky that they came across specifically this group of sorcerers, because, Itadori, Nobara, and Megami are all kind of weird, almost weirdly stacked in terms of abilities for first years. I'm like in the back of my head, I'm like y'all are kind of making like literally everybody else except for Gojo, obviously, look like trash. Like, that's not to discount mock. Like, we saw that episode, they all respectively turned up, but it's like, these weren't like run of the mill. These were special grades, bro. Like these are the ones that are touted. Like, if you're a sorcerer, you take down a special grade by yourself, even with like one other person, it's like, oh shit, you're alive still. And again, to put it into context, the way Megami's fight happened, like the cursed spirit he fought, which was the same one, the same kind of cursed spirit, just a much higher level. Like, they're doing things now confidently that they literally couldn't at the beginning of the season. That was killing them. That, you know what I mean? And so it definitely says a lot how much they've grown. I just hope that the growth of other characters that can fight, scales with them, so that it's not just like, oh fuck, we don't have one of the main three trio. We're fucked. Like, we're just gonna stall time for them, which I don't think is gonna happen, because I don't know. I'm really just banging off we had the whole tournament thing, and I'm like, well, they gave them abilities. They got to make use of them in more than just one, a couple episodes. But I do. That being said, though, Nobara's turn up was fan-fucking-tastic to watch. I love Nobara's ability specifically because it's not as obvious how tactical and useful it is. And almost, in a sense, it also only really works because of her personality, right? Like, I don't think if you gave that ability to anybody, to be honest, except for like Nobara and maybe Itadori, they could make use of it the way that she does, because a lot of it is that like she is so intense that she's willing to do whatever it takes to like to sort of max out the usage of that ability, right? So it's like, I feel like most people, it's like, okay, you have to get like that ability requires you to get a piece of DNA or whatever, from your enemy, and then put it on the cursed doll, and then like you can harm them. And it's like, what if I just fucking hammer it myself? And it's like, you savage bitch. I love that. Like, yes.
A Jurassic Park meme, you crazy son of a bitch.
Yeah, literally. Because it's like, it's like, why don't I just hurt myself? And it's like, because ow. Like, that would hurt, wouldn't it? It's like, no. Because that was the thing. She was like, oh, okay, I'll just make this a game of chicken then. And it's like, in my head, I'm like, oh, fuck. So she's going to like put nails in herself. And it's like, who's going to outlast the pain longer? Her or this demon? But like, she was taking it pretty fucking well, bro. Like, that demon was like, every time. And she's just like, I'm like, oh. Like, she was...
I think it fits her personality too, because she's very blunt, like a hammer, right? In that sense, where I don't know. I
feel like it's hard with Megami. He's got like, I can summon demon shadows from fucking hell or whatever, and Itadori can just hit shit hard. I feel like it's hard to make a character whose main ability is a hammer and nails badass.
Yeah. Oh,
Mappa
but they did it.
I mean, not Mappa. They didn't make the character, but like, they, to be fair, their animation sold it. But like, this character of Nobara and her ability, it's just 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely fantastic.
Start simping on her.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's really cool. What else happened in this episode? Am I missing anything?
I mean, we got the at the tail end. We were talking about it where Gojo. It's implied that right after they killed that cursed spirit and got the finger, that Mahito and all of them also got the report. That
duh. That was the biggest talking point that I was going to bring up.
So that there's, we know that there is a inside. They're getting inside intel, and that it's more than, because at first I think we were all like, oh, Geto is he's the guy. He's the one that's like knows the deets because he used to be at Jujutsu Tech or whatever. But there seems to be another eye. You know what I mean? That's it. Because again, we don't have her name because I guess she's just not a character. It's important enough to be on this list. But her and Gojo are going back and forth, and like, all right, like, damn, I hate to think that this could be like a student, but like, it is what it is, and pays her, I'm assuming, a bunch of money to find out and spy and scope out who this traitor is. So that's interesting.
Who do you think it is?
I honestly don't know.
So it's a student.
Well,
right?
we don't know.
Well,
he said it was Gojo said it was a student.
Yeah,
Gojo knows all, Gavin.
I'm saying
questioning
I
our
love
Lord and
my
Savior,
boy
Gojo.
but they got it. I do think that
believe
there
you.
is an expectation that they
Blasphemy.
set for this show.
I can't
and
believe
that,
you're
like
doubting
they would go like that's the thing. It's like Gojo says yes, it's a student. So that's the thing where it's like, all right, you're in the mindset that it's a student, and you automatically discount that it could be a teacher of some sort. And it's like for me, that was my first thing when he's like, it's a student. I'm like, it's a teacher. Like I don't know. It's just like natural instinct that it's like no, it's got to be. There's got to be something different in it, and that's just the way it goes.
I feel like when you're playing Twister, and it's like, all right, Gavin, left hand yellow. He's like, I'm doing red.
Yeah, that's not how this game works. You have to, he's like, I want to make a cool design with my hands here.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my own thing. You guys play the game.
Okay, so with that being said,
that is
fair enough. But who do you think it is in general then?
Oh, I couldn't actually tell you. I have no clue. I honestly, well, the thing is, because like what we were trying, we can't find this ponytail teacher on the list. Like, I want a list of all the teachers and actually look at them and be like, all right, let me use my context clues to figure it out. But I do think it's a teacher. I couldn't tell you which one. And even if it was a student, I really couldn't tell you which one because again, it's the same thing where it's like you can say one of the first grades or whatever that like wanted to kill Itadori off the bat when the principal laid his plan. All right, honestly, for me, that's just too in the face and too blatant. Like, I like it's too obvious. And at that point, you'd have to look at characters who were with like who wanted like then it's everybody's on the table, and then that's the whole thing where I feel like it's definitely going to be a character that we wouldn't expect it to be in terms of a traitor. And I don't know, that's why I think I just default to a teacher because that's like the number one like position in this school that I think wouldn't be a traitor. So like it would make it all the more reason for them to make said person a traitor. And even though I'm off, even if it wasn't a teacher, that would be the same thought process for me if being a student. It would be someone who we really wouldn't believe would be a traitor, but somehow is through a very convoluted storyline and is saving face. So it's very interesting. I don't know now. I literally need a breakdown of people, but yeah, I have my money is in the boat of a teacher / professor, whatever you want to call it.
Fair enough. What do you think?
I honestly, I feel like it could be anybody that isn't Maki, Panda, or what's his name, Toge, the guy with the mouth abilities.
Toge, or the salmon guy, because I mean he
or
like,
Toto, Owie,
the salmon guy.
Yeah, that's
I forget
Toge.
his name.
That's Toge.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
Toge.
that's
Oh,
the
my
one.
bad. Sorry.
Yeah, anybody. I think they're all in the clear, just because, like, I don't know, the way the characters have been presented. I'm like, they're
really
just
awkward, huh?
Yeah. Well, because I don't know, because like, fair enough. Like, I feel like you could do the thing where it's like, oh shit, it was the dude that I literally didn't think it was because they played the part so well. But I don't know, something about their characters. It's like the backstory we've got, and I'm like, no, I kind of feel like those characters are just on a different. Like they're here to do they're genuinely on our side, and Gojo obviously, but like yeah, I don't know. I guess anybody else theoretically, because I'm like, okay, is it they want to subvert your expectation and do the thing where it's like, oh, we're making it seem like it's this guy, which means it's this guy, or is it they're doing that so you'll think it's this guy, but that means it actually is this guy. So I don't know. Virtually anybody, you know, because I do feel like we just don't have enough info. Virtually any one of those other people, I think it could be.
If I had to guess. If it is a student, I'll go with this. If I had to guess out of the students, I probably my money would be on the guy that can control his blood. He's got the one eye open.
Oh, okay.
That guy. I think he's third year.
Noritoshi?
Is that it? Yeah. I think if I had to guess, it'd be him because we have all this
in front of us, and we're like, what's the dude's name?
Yeah, right.
I don't remember. Well, if only
right, because wait, you're flying. If you could scroll up a little bit the other way, you're going into like future seasons, my dude. These are the curses, and then a little bit more. Keep on going. Yeah. Okay.
Noritoshi, yeah.
I think Noritoshi. If I had to guess, someone.
Let's put it this way: the only person who I absolutely know it's not, and I think is Kasumi, because that girl is just so damn adorable, and she's just doing her own thing, and she's just trying to make her 9-to-5 job work. That I'm like, girl, you're good. Just do you. Don't even worry about the plot. Just like stay alive, okay?
Yeah, I just think it's him. I mean, I don't have too much evidence. Really, he's just sus. But I mean, beyond that, I think he might have some of the most reason. He seems to have a lot of. I mean, all these people have demons in them, obviously, but it seems like he hasn't really broken his yet. Like we didn't get that full episode with him yet, where it's like him and Fuji fought. It was very brief. before the exterior threat came. So we didn't get a huge breakdown on his character, right? He was the one like gung-ho to kill Itadori and stuff like that, and then we were just like, that was kind of it, right? All we knew is that he didn't really go all out against Fuji, and then that was it, right? Like that was there. Whereas like at least with Zenin, Mei or Mai, Miwa, Momo, we kind of saw like Muda as well, the robot guy. We kind of saw a lot of their motivations, at least within their backstories. At least it seemed like. They could be throwing me for the loop, obviously. But it seemed like a lot of their traumas were kind of worked out throughout the courses of those episodes, where it's like, okay, what would be the real reason for you to want to betray them at that rate? So I don't know. I feel like he was the only one where it's like we haven't gotten really the 411 on. So he seemed to have like this sort of, resentfulness going about it, where he's got
feel
this,
like the only
messed up
thing
past.
that makes me actually think that it can't be somebody that we already know is because for one reason or another, everybody that we know like kind of has made this, has made it apparent that they're like, all right, I'm here. Like at the end of the day, whether I'm here for selfish reasons or selfless, like I'm here as a sorcerer to like make my name as a sorcerer, right? Like to do to take this path where it's like, I kind of feel like whoever this is in a similar boat to, and again, I don't really think it hasn't really been established that like this is Ghetto's motivation, but like the people who are on this team of like cursed spirits, over humans or sorcerers, I feel like are there because they're, especially the humans, are there because they feel like they've been wronged by Jujutsu, either Jujutsu Tech, faculty, teachers at Jujutsu Tech, maybe some trauma happened that resulted in them leaving the school, whatever. But I feel like they're there, and subsequently this person is working with them, sort of like a Junpei thing, where it's like they've lost faith in humanity, in sorcerers, in like any notion of this side winning. That it's like, well, fuck it, might as well sign up with the winning team. You know what I mean?
What do you think about this Yuta character? Right, because they refer to Yuta a couple times, and he's not there. He apparently died, or he's gone. He was a student there, and you said he's going to be in the prequel movie, right? Yeah. So I'm wondering if maybe we thought that he died. Yeah. They also show him in the OP as well. It seems like maybe now he's working for them. He got converted, something like that.
I did think that, but then I started going to like what Gavin was saying, where I'm like, that is like a little obvious. It's like, oh. Student disappeared mysteriously. He's the villain. So I'm like, it would be like really on the nose. So I'm actually kind of wondering if it's like maybe he's just sort of like an anti-hero now. Like he's kind of on his own third like trail here, where it's like, no, I don't fuck with Jujutsu sorcery, or tech, but I also don't fuck with cursed spirits. Yeah. But it could be him. Like like I said, we don't know enough about. All we really know, and I guess that's speculation, is that there's a traitor. Like we don't really even know enough about like the motive, per se, of this traitor to even be able to like put them into a box here.
Sure. I don't know. I'm trusting Gojo. It's a student. Gojo's like, students are sus. All right, Gojo, you got it. No. So when is this movie coming out? Do you know?
Nope.
So all you know is that they're going to make a prequel.
Yeah, literally just saw I didn't see but I saw like a post on Twitter.
Oh.
And people were like going off about it because they're like, oh, boy, Yuta's going to get some light on him now.
Yeah.
So yeah, they released a teaser after the finale, and which confirmed that they're doing it. Don't know.
Okay, but no date on there?
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy though. That's going to be cool. I'm curious to see that. I don't know when it's coming out. If any, we won't get it until summer 2022.
If I would go in here, Gavin, because there might be.
We don't want to spoil it.
I know. I'm literally. You just got to scan for dates. And
fair enough. Yeah, just look for numbers.
That's on you.
Yeah. If anyone has any clarification on that, curious to know when that movie is coming out, because that would be really cool to watch and react to and all that kind of thing. But anyway, as we, I believe, covered everything here, I guess we'll end it. So listen, folks, hopefully you enjoyed our discussion today. If you did, make sure you're smashing like for the YouTube algorithm, hitting that bell, and subscribing if you are new here, and commenting your thoughts down below. What did you think of our discussion? What did you think of this episode? Is there anything that we may have missed or glossed over that had a profound impact on you during it, or any sort of beneath the surface style thing that we may have glossed over or missed? Because this show is chock full of them. It's some pretty cool stuff. Actually, you know what? One thing I would like to pass off to you, we didn't get to talk about it too much here, but it was a cool moment. Nobara, well, we talked about it a little bit, but
their
Nobara's conversation
Yeah.
with Itadori in terms of her looks on that. We talked about it briefly, but we didn't go really in depth. I'm curious to know what you think about that interaction between those two, and where do you think that leads them going forward, just to pass off that question. We also have a comment of the day. So I want to do this one a little bit differently because we had two people who answered the question, which would be Nomad Vaughn, big shout out. And also we had Thelmus Kalidas. I don't know if I pronounced that all correctly, but the comments had to do with kind of a lot of prior things going on here. So I did want to just shout out this comment in particular that somebody did, because I think it's a good question that I wanted to pose to you guys and what we thought about it. And that would be from Ink Splatter Comics, Comic Art with Cole. It's a hell of a name, but it's a cool profile picture. I'm assuming you did that. If you did, awesome. They say, thanks for more great content. You're welcome. Will you guys consider doing a read-through of the manga after season 1 ends? I think it would be fantastic. I thought that question was fitting for what we thought about the series as a whole in terms of the first season, and if we think it's read-worthy, or if we're on that wait for it to be animated train. What do you guys think? I'm like split, right? Because people ask us this all the time. They're like, you want to read it now? You want to read it now? You want to read it now? And it's tempting every time. This seems like a story that would be good. I'm sure people would like it if we covered it. But I'm like torn, because I'm like, well, how long do we think it's going to be animated? And like, you know what I mean? Do we want to save it for it?
Well, I'm guessing we would be like rereading season 1, like what we've seen so far.
I don't know, yeah.
Because my question would then be, how much does the anime stray from the manga itself? Because there is a point of redundancy, I'm not going to lie, that when we reread it, it's like, are we just like redigesting the same story, maybe told slightly different, but it gets to the same end? And although that's not a bad thing, like that's what people really watch. Like some people watch anime for that, to get the reread and the new experience, but not gonna lie, we're also trying to cover new content. And it's like, we don't want to keep on going into the same material over and over and over again, because there's just so much anime out there, and we want to be able to cover all different bases. Plus it's interesting because we like seeing new stuff. So it's I would like to know how similar it is from anime manga. Like,
I feel like it's like if you read the manga to something and then you go watch the anime, like you're redigesting the same story, but the fact that it's animated, like that's what you're honing in on, and it's like, oh, I want to see this dope moment that I remember from the manga animated, right? That's like turning the notch up from like 10 to 11, where it's like if you watch the anime and then go back to the manga, like you said, if there aren't various differences in how the story is portrayed, in a sense, like you are kind of taking a less spectacle version of what you have already watched. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna lie, one of my favorite things about Jujutsu Kaisen is how it looked, is the animation. So like, and I've heard people say that this is a pretty good, almost 1-to-1 adaptation. So like, I don't know if I would like go back and just read like a picture version of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So here's my thing with it, right? Where it's like, I totally agree with you guys in terms of rereading it, if that was the plan, right? Just to talk about that for a second. There is this air of redundancy, and from what I've heard as well, this is pretty beat for beat with the manga. Now, the issue, of course, with us in particular reading toward, like going forward with it, is it's a double-edged sword, because you get to cover that content earlier. So if there's a fan base there for it, a big enough fan base that cares just about our thoughts and discussions and all that kind of thing based off the information that we know, that's one thing. But then it doesn't strip the ability to do reactions, because you could do a reaction when you've already read the manga, fair enough. But it does take that element of surprise out of it, where it's like everything is kind of brand new.
So
the fact that we have a reaction channel, I feel like you kind of have to choose. It's either, okay, am I going to react to this when it comes out and just kind of savor that sort of experience, or am I going to go ahead with this and then kind of formulate my content in a different light, So I feel like, just due to the fact that there's so many anime, as you said, coming out, and due to the fact that we want to see this as, I would say, I don't know if I speak for everyone here, but I would like to see this as a brand new thing as it gets animated, because it looks damn gorgeous, and be surprised by that and kind of give it a little bit of a wait. I'm probably going to say that we would forego that as the manga, at least me personally, but that doesn't mean that these guys can't pick it up. And Isaiah also has some manga things coming up as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, although we're going to be starting a manga club in our Discord, which will basically we'll be taking manga recommendations of, currently running shows or currently running manga that I've already completed, and reading them, I don't know if it'll probably be like arc by arc or whatever, once a month, and then like sort of in the style of a book club, like talking about them, and then I'll sort of be using that conversation to make a review of said manga, like as a video for the channel. So that's not to say that if Jujutsu Kaisen ends up on that list somehow and then wins, I won't read it. But I guess my thing is I wouldn't, of my own merit, probably pick it up and read it without that prompting me. But if that situation happened, then I'd
if
end up
enough
reading
people
it.
want it,
And also join the Discord if that sounds like something.
Yes, link in the description down below. And catch that reaction if you don't already. Link in the description there. But anyway, folks, that's all we have for you today. Again, big shout out to Thelmus, Kalidas, and Nomad Vaughn for answering the question, which was, what was Fuji's sister's name? And it was Sumiki Fujigaru. And they were talking about how great this episode, point blank, quote, I forgot, it was awesome, showed some degree of sorcerers are a little insane, Nomad Vaughn said. And then Kalidas went into how they want to seal Gojo, and it's really just kind of running down the clock, and then use Sukuna as their big bad in order to just bring about the Age of Curses. Whether he kills them all or not, doesn't matter. He's Giga Curse, so it's going to be the Age of Curses. So just wanted to give you guys credit where credit was due there. Thank you very much for watching until the end of the video. Now, unfortunately, Jujutsu Kaisen has ended today, so we're not going to come back next week with another discussion. I think we just answered that pretty clearly. But just in general, if anyone wanted to show their support for watching until the end of the video, just type in Sukuna before Sukuna, and then your comment.
Type in Nobara.
Nobara?
Like
you're right. Yeah, 100%. Nobara is the better one. Yeah, type in Nobara if you made it until the end of this episode, and then your comment, and we'll know that you are one of the real ones, and you have watched till the end of this episode, and we appreciate you for that. But until next time, folks, I forgot to shout out our patrons. Stoic, Nathan, we love you. Our Acolytes of Anime and all of our patrons, we appreciate it. Too many plugs. Anyway, now we're heading out of here. We'll catch you all on the flip. Thank you so much. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.
Ninjas are samurais, blazing the kunais. Find me in the leaf of the cloud, screaming out Bankai. We just some ghouls though, who like seeing parts fly. They like what you saying, Goma got more through the storylines. I tested your neck from the start, my hunters gon' come for your heart. I promise you'll land in my boulevard, left them in one piece, no